Back with Jeff Fenech. Jeff, let's go into the moment where you won your third world title in 3 different weight classes. The only Australian to do that by mile, you're the most accomplished fighter we've ever produced. You fought Victor Collegius. It was the 7th of the 3rd, 1988, Sydney Entertainment Centre. Let's go over that fight.
It was most probably one of the dirtiest fights that you can witness on a video if you watch it, or on DVD these days. But he was certainly one of the toughest guys I ever fought. He hit me in the first round with he was a southpaw. No, he hit me with an uppercut, and the lights went out for a second. Not that I realised at the time, but when I watched it on video to see my legs wobble and see what happened. But for me to come back straight after that, I didn't want to show him that I was hurt. I just jumped straight back on him and turned the first round around. And I think that he thought after that punch, Peter, it was just a matter of time before he knocked me out. So he just sat on me, but I put a lot of pressure on him. I fought with a broken right hand in that fight, and I put so much pressure on him that eventually in the 10th round I knocked him out. And that was a fight I'll never forget. I say it was my toughest fight because he was my toughest opponent by far. He thumbed me, he elbowed me, he hit me low. He done everything he had to do to win the fight. Yeah, and I respect him for that. I mean, you're in a fight and do whatever you have to do to win. And like I said, that's why I love that fight so much.
Now let's go over your hands, Jeff. You mentioned your hands. I was starting to get bad at this stage, weren't I? And you were starting to nurse them a bit too much for your own liking, because you could take them out with one punch, but you had to sort of work in more and try and protect your hands. Yeah,
well, even early on, Pete, from my first amateur Australian title, I had to stay up all night and ice my hands. But progressively, as I moved up in the weight divisions and you punched a little harder, it hurt me more to punch somebody than it did to punch them. And people say, "Oh, Jeff Fenech wasn't a big puncher," and it's like if you've got a spinner at the bottom of your feet, you don't walk on the spinner because it hurts too much. And if I punched them clean, it hurt me a lot. And there was never anybody that could say that Jeff Fenech didn't have bad hands, because every fight when I took the gloves off, my hands were bigger than the gloves. I urinated blood for days from the internal bleeding, and it was something that I'm proud of, because it's always good to know that you went through some adversity to get what you had to get. And although my hands were bad, I was able to have a brilliant career. 3 world titles, a draw in my 4th, and everything else I've done in my career was with the 2 tools of my trade injured. So it was a pretty amazing career.
Let's go over the 4th draw. It wasn't a draw, Jeff, was it? We all know it was probably one of the biggest, dirtiest rip-offs of all time. Yeah, was Don King involved? Who was involved? Because a lot of the Australian public felt Don King was involved. Because, mate, I can't believe the scoring. Dave Moretti, who's an experienced judge.
But you know what, I think what happens, Pete, I was relatively unknown at that time because Bill Morty had kept me here in Australia for so long, and when I went there, they just thought Azumah was going to do what he'd done to every other fighter. So they really didn't respect me. They didn't take much notice of what I was doing. And those judges, it's the only sport in the world, or it's the only industry in the world where you can make mistake after mistake and still have a job. Like if you couldn't do what you done here today, they'd find somebody else to take your place. If you're a mechanic and you can't fix a motor, you get the sack. But in boxing, you can make mistake after mistake, and you seem to be on the next world title fight anyway. But like I said, it was just something that happened. And look, I would have loved to have 4 world titles beside my name, but I don't today. But the one thing that I do have is respect from the world boxing community because of that decision. And I respect myself because I know that I won the fight. Azumah also knows I won the fight, irrespective of what other people want to say. We both know, we've spoken, and
mate, Blind Freddie knows you. Well,
that's right. But even to go the distance with Azumah Nelson was a great feat for me, because nobody thought I could do that. Had it been a 15-round event like in the old days, there's no doubt in my mind. The 13th round, it would have been over.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now you moved up. You still weren't content after that. Moved up to lightweight to fight Philip Holiday for a world title. Was there much left in the gas by then, Jeff, or were you just sick of boxing? And
no. Well, I think that after my Azumah Nelson draw in Las Vegas, I was never the same fighter. I think that something was taken out of me. The robbery, the decision. Just
you weren't naive and loved the sport as much.
Yeah, it took something. Listen, if you don't love boxing, if you don't love what you do, it's never the same. But when I prepared for Holiday, I tell you what, I at one stage I was up at around 80 kilos. I got back there, my body fat was 2.5%. I trained really hard. I had one fight prior to that in America. Had a fight here in Melbourne against Michael, and I felt great. And that night I got a couple of injections prior to the fight because my hands were pretty sore, and that was it. I don't know why, like sparring Hector Lopez, sparring all those guys, never got hurt once in the gym, in the ring, and all of a sudden I go out there and Philip Holloway's not a big puncher, but he hit me clean, and the fight was over. I'll never make an excuse. I was beaten by a better person on the day, but I know that put us both in the ring at our primes, and it wouldn't, I wouldn't have had a problem, But that's life, and I got to give Philip Holloway all the credit in the world for what he done. He beat me, and that's all you can do. The job was for him to beat me, and he done that, and I respect Philip Holloway for that.